Hello, dear beloveds. Well, I'm doing my last live for probably the rest of the day. I'm not sure my voice is going to hold out, but I have been meaning to go live to talk about this for such a long time, and I don't want another day to go past. What I want to talk about today is really to break down the third level, what the third level is, what's its intention, who is it for, what happens when you join this program, how does it unfold, all of these things that, you know, for me, I've probably started to take for granted. But of course, this information is vital for those of you who are looking to make a decision about whether the third level is the right program for you and whether you want to, be part of this all. Hello, gorgeous Pina. We've been hanging out a lot today. So I just thought it would be very useful for me to spend some time just breaking it all down. We are almost at the end of the interview period for this intake. We finished the interviews on the 25th of October. The entry into the program is by interview only. And we do that because, of course, you've got to work out if I'm the right teacher for you, and I need to work out if you're the right person for this program. It's very much created in response to the women who come into the program, and every group is different. Every group brings such incredible energy and brings their own unique energy to the program. So each intake is quite shaped around those women. So it's vital that we have an entry interview and we get that opportunity to really work out if this is the right fit, and it seems to have worked very well so far. An interview is also a great way for you to consider very deeply if this is the right program for you, because unlike most training that's available in the spiritual world right now, the spirituality industry, I guess we could call it, this program goes for longer and it goes much deeper. So there isn't usually an opportunity outside of a university setting to study something intensively for a year, but that's exactly what we do in the third level. And what we're training in could be shaped around three pillars: the idea of personal development, spiritual development, and professional development, as both the contemporary mystic, as the modern day priestess, and as the spiritual leader. And the qualification that you actually come out with is as an intuitive guide. And the year is a marathon, not a sprint, and we talk about this a lot, don't we? Pina saying, yep, so much deeper, because what you can do in a year, you can't do in shorter formats. It's simply not possible to access the depth of what's available for you. And you're really looking at this year as being a year to return you to what you truly are. The third level qualifies you as an intuitive guide. It trains you as a contemporary priestess, as a mystic, and as a leader. But it really, all it does is hold you, scaffold you to meet yourself as what you truly are. So in fact, what we spend most of our time doing is removing the barriers to you knowing how profoundly intuitive you are, of you knowing how deeply and intimately connected to the infinite you are. And really all we need to do is remove those blocks to that truth. And that is what this year does. To try and do that more quickly or without this kind of focus, I think can leave us not turning every part of our life over to God. And that's really what we want to do. So how do we do it? How does it all work? Well, this is a truly international program. We have sisters from all over the world who gather together. And so the content is most of it delivered online. But even though people say, oh, I don't necessarily like an online program, or whatever your excuses about that might be, we're also learning that the dimensions of time and space do not truly exist. And the intimacy and the connection that happens as this year unfolds is quite profound. And it doesn't require us to be in the same physical location all of the time for that connection and the work to be done. There are 8 online modules across 4 terms. Each term is 8 weeks long. So we have 2 modules per term. Each one has assessments associated with it. Those assessments will pertain to the topic. So if we're learning about the science of intuition, your job will then to go forward and to teach the science of intuition to the world through your Facebook community or however you would like to do that. So from the very beginning, you're putting your teaching into practice, because, teaching is demonstrating. So says A Course in Miracles, we're not sitting back, away from the world. From the very beginning, we're turning our knowledge into action in the world. So each module will have assessments associated with it. There's required reading and there's fortnightly tutorials which support us to deepen into the learning and to deepen into the support. There's also monthly circles, third level circles, where we gather not just with your sisters from your intake, but from all the third level sisters from all of the intakes, including those who've graduated. So it's truly an intergenerational and global sisterhood. You also have your own Facebook community for your particular group, and that has proven to be, as Brooke says, the sisterhood is amazing, and these women haven't even met each other yet, because we do get the opportunity to meet each other, which is truly divine. We gather together for 1 week in Mama Bali, in Ubud, which is the spiritual center of Bali, and there we deepen into the practical training, the training in the intuitive intelligence method, the tools of the intuitive guide, and we go deep into immersing ourselves in this process of sitting together in circle and really learning from one another and learning these invaluable tools which we can combine with whatever other training we've done in our lives, and to go forward into the world with new modalities, new methods, creating a new way of working. It's certainly not a static training. I invite you to bring everything that you've done before, bring your wisdom into this space and see what else is possible with those tools, because as I said, the tools of the intuitive guide are primarily how do we meet and release our fear. Excuse me, my voice is going a little funny at the moment. And so when we are able to bring any of our other training into that, we can deepen what we can do in service to others. And it's a very powerful thing to see the women who've done the training do this. I have an incredible lead mentor in the Institute called Amy Tao, who has Temple of She, and her work as both a midwife and a yoni massage practitioner, combined with her qualification as an intuitive guide, has positioned her as a world leader in understanding the sacred feminine, understanding how to access the deep wisdom of the womb space, and how to unlock that power in women that is so often shut down because of fear. Now that is much bigger than anything that I could have taught Amy. She has brought this together and created her own form. And that is what spiritual leadership in this day and age is, in this age of spiritual innovation. What you take out of this is not a static system that has to stay the same. In fact, I encourage and get excited when I see women working with these tools in their own unique way, and it's very, very cool to get to do that. So in Mama Bali, we go deep into these tools, and yes, we get to sit together physically in the same time and space, and it's profoundly beautiful. We work with a local Jiro priestess to be invited into Mama Bali, into Ubud. And so we are paying our deep respects to that place, and not just appropriating what we like about it, but actually honoring the wisdom of the land and of the women and men who have cultivated such a profound spiritual energy in that place. All of that's built into the program. We are creating socially conscious spiritual leaders to understand our responsibility is not just to manifest stuff for ourselves, but we are here as the contemporary mystic, and our question is always, how may I serve? We are here as the priestess, and our question is always, what is my life going to do? How may I bring something to the world rather than continually try to take from the world? We're shifting that paradigm completely. It's not about manifestations. It's not about trinkets and superstitions. It's about, what may I offer to the world? May I be ready? May I be willing to put down my own story and take up this mantle of service and say, yes, no matter what state my life is in, I am ready to contribute something bigger to the world than just my own little piece of happiness. And my life is here in service to the greater good. And that is the path of the priestess. And it is a path that I walk, and I walk it righteously, because it is so important that our spirituality is bringing this new age, this new reality into the world now. And that's why we gather together, and that's why we sit in circle, and that's why we create socially conscious leaders whose leadership is through demonstration. They embody what they offer, and if they don't, you can spot that from a mile away. It's not the age where we can admire gurus who sit up on pedestals, but actually to embody the work is how we change the world. And that's it. We don't really need to do more than that. But it's exciting to teach and to share our ideas and our inspiration with the world. So those are the dimensions, the shape, the size, the delivery, the pedagogy of the program. All of this is outlined. You have the prospectus available on the website, but once you come into the program, you'll see it's very much like a university structure. We work to mainstream the intuitive sciences, and so we replicate best practice. And yes, walk the walk. I love that. We will let you know exactly what's expected of you, and we will let you know exactly what can be expected of us. We'll make sure that you feel very safe, you understand everything before you sign anything, and that everything is very transparent. Really to have a gold standard that we would like to be admired industry-wide, worldwide, so that we are creating a new culture in this unregulated industry. You'll learn the learning outcomes, the assessment criteria, the amount of hours required, how to access what's required of you in order to make the most out of the program. All of this is detailed in fine print so that you can absolutely understand all of the aspects of the program, as well as getting excited about the big picture, because often we get excited about the big picture, but when it comes to actually getting the program, it's like, oh, this isn't how I thought it was going to be. We want to make sure there's no surprises for you. There'll be a lot of spiritual awakening, and that might bring some surprises, but this really is a gold standard program, and we are absolutely committed to working ethically. We have a very robust code of ethics. We're an approved training provider of the IICT, the International Institute of Complementary Therapists, and we adhere to their code of ethics. Everything that we do is desiring to change the conversation about intuition and to graduate intuitive guides into the world who are not working with intuition through a paradigm of taking people's power away from them, but rather we gift the power to them by showing them that they had it all the time. We are the scaffold that holds them while they meet and clear the blocks to knowing that they are the infinite. And it's profound and sacred and beautiful work, and I'm so privileged I get to do this for a living. So the interviews are open until the 25th of October. It is closing very soon. There's only 1 or 2 interview times left. We are almost booked out for this round, but it just occurs to me, very often women will say to me, I don't know how I found you, but I did, and just one live or one post might be the way that energy brings you and I together, and I don't want anyone to miss out. So I'm feeling the call to go live today and talk about it, even though the program is almost sold out. So I feel like maybe there's someone out there who just needs to hear this today and to learn more about it. Oh yes, and Pina says the mentoring too. Yes, you have mentoring with the lead mentors of the Institute and some time with me as well. And that's a vital part of the program to really ensure that you get to go deep into your own personal spiritual awakening, and whatever is arising for you during that program, that process, you are able to be held by the group, but you're also held by your mentor. You also have an accountability sister that changes every term, and it's your job from the beginning to be there for your sister, to show her that she is held and loved. And so from the very beginning you were treated as a leader, you were treated as the priestess that you are, and you're shown just more and more of that as the year goes on. Apologies, just got a call. You also complete 6 case studies in the method to demonstrate your learning. And so once again, we're going back to best practice, creating a gold standard industry-wide to ensure that you are really confident in your skills and abilities as you go out into the world. And this is all part of our commitment to change the conversation about intuition. We're deeply committed to spiritual innovation and research, and to continue to grow this work into the mainstream, because when everybody knows that their spiritual superpower resides within them, it simply needs to be activated through being scaffolded by removing fear. You can think of us, the contemporary priestesses of the 3rd level, as fear hunters. Our job is to be unafraid of fear, to take people back to love by showing them fear is just a friendly ally, and everything that we do is in service with that truth. So I think that's it. Thank you for everybody who joined me live. It's so important for me to revisit and remind myself of what it has been created with this program. It is so remarkable, and the women who are in it blow my mind and my heart wide open, and it just seems to grow in power. I think every intake paves the way for the next, and I'm quite I'm quite blown away by what's possible for us. So if this is calling to you, if you want to know more, if you just want to hang out with me for a little while, I'll share the link so you can book your interview, and we can make 2019 the year of the contemporary priestess. Have a beautiful day.